Clickbait sounds like this bad, evil internet thing that you should hate and everybody should be afraid of, but as controversial as it might be, people do click on clickbait headlines. So today, I'm gonna teach you how to create your own. We're gonna go through the overall strategy of how to create a clickbait headline, some tips to be really successful here, and a few hacks to get you there faster. My name is Trent Kennelly, I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're into it. Comment your favorite good or bad clickbait headline. I would love to know. There are some real stinkers out there, but some really great ones as well. But until then, let's get started. All right, let's jump into some strategy. And the first piece of advice I have for you is to create your headline last, because your headline needs to sync up with the content. And if you don't have your content specifically laid out, then your headline might not sync up. And this is really important because, and this is my second point, your content needs to match your title. If you're scrolling through articles about Christmas and come across the best 5 Christmas tree products that aren't ornaments, but then click on that article and read about 5 different ornaments that people can buy, you're not gonna wanna continue to engage because you feel like you got cheated. You didn't actually learn what you were expected to learn. Next, when you're writing, make sure that you write 20 headlines. Now, I know that that sounds extreme, but this is actually an old journalism trick. People have been doing this for a long time. Writing 20 headlines is gonna force you to reshape that headline in the way that you're saying those things 20 times in your head. It's not as exhausting as it sounds, I promise that. But what's gonna happen here is that the first few are gonna be fine. They're not gonna be terrible. They're not gonna be great. The middle set are gonna be awful. They're gonna be some of the worst work you've ever done. You're gonna be disgusted with yourself. And by the end, it's gonna be magical. Some of these last few headlines, you're gonna be blown away with how good they are. Next, split test. So split testing or A/B testing is vital for everything that you do. And if you aren't sure exactly what to do for your headline, if you're stuck between 2 or 3, then split testing or A/B testing is a great option. You can check out this video for a deep dive into split testing, but here are the basics for this video. Split testing is putting 2 possibilities against each other and seeing which one comes out the winner. So if you have 2 possible headlines, you want to send equal traffic to each one. Let's say you have 100 people that are coming to your site, 50 go to headline A, 50 go to headline B. The headline that gets more engagement, more visitors, more click-throughs, whatever you're testing against to make sure that you figure out which one's the winner, you're gonna use that one for all of your traffic that going forward. So functionally, it's not always possible, but if you can, you should always test rather than assume on your headline. All right, let's jump into a few tips to help you be successful here. And the first one I want to talk about is virality or relatability. So virality, at the end of the day, is all about relating to the moment. You're looking to be one of the people talking about the popular thing. And if your content stands out, it can not only boost that piece of content, but your entire brand. So whenever possible, you need to look for ways to get in the middle of a hot conversation of that moment. For example, in marketing right now, discussions of ethics are becoming more and more important. So building that viral topic into my headlines as a marketer is going to become more and more important as time goes on. Next, you want to use power words. So you want your headlines to pack a punch. And some words tend to be better than others at doing this. You're looking to get an emotional reaction out of people. Even using a single word sometimes can get that emotional reaction. You want to drive the emotion to get people to feel the way that you want them to feel. These words should not be big or complicated because that's going to reduce the likelihood that you're going to get that emotion that you want. You want to make this simple, which we're going to talk about a little more in a minute, and designed to get a reaction. So a couple of word examples. Secret, this makes you feel like you're part of a small group in the know. Epic feels like something larger than life that you want to be a part of. Chaos, instant image of fire and people running around. New, everybody loves new things. It's a bright, poppy word. There are thousands of others. You can just Google it and find tons of examples. To pick the right ones, just envision the reaction. What really hits you in the moment? You have to feel this out. 7 secret ways billionaires grow their wealth is more interesting than how to grow your wealth. That secret really drives that point home. Next, be specific. So more specificity drives more interest. Vague headlines don't tell the reader what they're going to learn or why they should care about it at all. But something more specific is going to inform that reader exactly why they need to know. Why cats land on their feet is going to tell people what they're about to learn. Neat cat facts definitely isn't telling you anything. Next, shorter is better. So the longer that the headline is, the less punch it has. You're looking for that gut punch. You're looking for something that grabs people's attention, and people get bored super quick online. So I would really suggest keeping your headline under 70 characters, because this is the typical length before YouTube and email and other services start to cut that headline off and give you those 3 dots at the end. And the minute you get those 3 dots, you've lost the impact that you could possibly have with this headline. It's all about reading it in that moment and getting that gut reaction. Next, show the benefit. So people online need to know why they should care. If you can't show them the benefit of why they want to be reading this, in the first line, in that headline, you're doing something wrong, and you're not going to get them to take interest as a result. Are you more likely to click on something that says 7 ways to make this your year, or this is the year you'll win? The first one is probably more interesting because it's telling you how to make your year. You are going to figure out how this is going to benefit you. Next, simple is better. So simpler language is just easier to understand, and more people are more likely to understand that language if it's easier to understand, if it's not as hard to read or hard to listen to. So you want to try to avoid big, hard to understand words. You want to use those words that the most amount of people are going to understand, because that increases the likelihood that you're going to get that emotional reaction out of the most amount of people. Final tip is to leave them hanging. So remember, the point of the headline is to get them to go into the article or video and learn more. So if you tell them the answer in the headline, you're not going to get them to click. If you hear a headline, for instance, like this, Canadian book buying habits haven't changed much in the last year, you're going to go, okay, good to know, and you're going to move on. You're not going to read that. Nobody is going to read that. It's more like reading a factoid than reading a headline to an article, so you're not going to continue to learn more. It doesn't entice, it doesn't interest, it doesn't leave them wondering what they could learn. Now let's talk about a couple of hacks that you can do to kind of get you there a little bit faster. First, use a tool. There are tools that can get you some of the way towards your clickbait titles without having to invent the wheel again, okay? I tend to use contentrow.com. They have a headline generator there that does a pretty good job. Just put a topic in and they'll form imperfect sentences around it. Now, I really suggest starting here but not using anything directly from this list, because most of these are grammatically incorrect, just slightly less enticing than they could be. So maybe you'd want to change, for instance, when you put in cats as the topic, here's my secret sauce for success in cats, which is meaningless, to here's my secret sauce for success in cat grooming. They mean 2 totally different things. The first is meaningless, the second actually means something, and it's more enticing. And the last little hack I have for you is to build a swipe file. So a swipe file is a collection of great marketing materials that you've found. So for instance, a list of headlines that you like, or a collection of emails or banner ads or whatever. You should really be doing this as a general practice anyway. What this does is this helps you to find inspiration when you aren't sure what approach you want to be taking. So it really helps you to kind of, even if it's not related to your business, go, okay, what's the approach that they took there? What kind of language did they use? How did they structure it? And then you can take that idea and adapt it to your business and your headline. So there you go. That wasn't so bad, right? Clickbait isn't this terrible thing, and actually you probably use it way more than you realize. I would really suggest that you take a good look at this and start to implement this into your headline building process. It will really help you with getting those clicks. There are so many ways to take advantage of it. So what I would love for you to do now is just to tell me your favorite clickbait headline that you've ever seen, good or bad. I would love to know either way, even if it's just to entertain me. Otherwise, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.